bought a little Stihl 291. See the number here. It's not a bad saw, not really bad, that bad, but what I got into was a young man I got it from. He just basically burned everything up almost. I can only guess that he was sawing, and he just kept plowing into everything with a dull dull chain, and he burned all this up. I mean, you can see here where it's all melted and messed up. Now I've just got this temporarily put on here so I could get the thing started and see if it ran. I don't want to put too much money into the saw if it's really boogered up. I did get it running, but without it, you know, this here, like I said, it's just kind of rig. It's a jimmy rig here going on with this. But oh boy, I must have done a pretty good job of getting that on there. All this was missing. I just kind of put it together. It was so melted it had physically just locked itself up. I'd never seen nothing like it. I've never seen anybody abuse a saw like this one was abused. I mean, it was just, I've just never seen it. Someone doing that to me is just unbelievable. You know, I mean, it had to be so dull. There we go, got my clip off. But I just kind of got it, again, I got it rigged up. There's no bearing in here. I just kept it from spinning and falling apart. So this was all, like I said, all screwed up. I have a feeling, a big feeling that the clutch is going to be bad and the oiler behind it. But again, I don't want to put too much money into this thing and you know, just lose my money. I'd rather one step at a time see what I'm getting into with it. When I got, you can see the clutch is just so messed up. I'm gonna get you over here. You can see how it's blue. I'll get a light on where you can kind of see it. It's just blue. And I mean, you just see everywhere in there. It's just a mess. I mean, it's an absolute mess. You can see how everything got hot. I've not taken it off yet. I'm not going to. I just want to see if the chainsaw will operate. That's. I've got it running now. It was not running hardly at all. Like I say, when I first got it, it was completely locked up because all this here was jammed up and locked up. These little keepers were off of it. It just, I mean, it was just bound up. It was just a complete mess. The truth is, it's still kind of a mess, to be honest with you. It's just a mess. Get those little keepers back on there. You see the clutch is just, it's just a mess. I keep saying that. I went to the Stihl dealer and got some parts that, like I say, I just want to see if it's going to work. If it's going to operate, then I can, you know, operate well. Then it would be worthwhile putting just a little bit of money into it. I'm going to have to know. I'm going to have to put a clutch and various things. But there was parts missing. I mean, it melted so bad that it literally had, you know, parts missing. This here was completely gone. The little pin bearing, a little bit just to hear the grease on it. I'm gonna take it all apart later and redo it anyway, but this is just temporary. That on there. Alright, there's the bearing. There's a little, looks like it's about 1 o'clock or 1:30. There's a little pin in there. I'm going to get it covered. You see the little groove right here. See that little groove? It's got to go slip over the top of this and go down into that groove, because that's what works your oiler, your oil pump. I mean, everything on this thing's just kind of messed up. I can't imagine anybody just sitting there just torching us all like that. It's beyond me. I mean, I really can't relate. I won't lie to you. All they had to do was stop, cool the thing down, and put a new, sharper chain on it. Go buy one, sharpen that one, do something. Don't just keep hammering down on, you know, smoking it out like that. That's unbelievable. There we go. There we go. It went. That's good. Happy to see that. The washer was gone, completely gone on it. The washer was. The keepers were gone on it. I'm gonna put a little grease on that too, just for the fun of it. Oh, wrong one. That ain't grease. Why did you do that? Why did you guys do that? You're gonna get fired. I about fired you for that one. That's crazy crap right there, guys. Don't need penetrating oil on a clutch. Are you kidding me? What's bad is you teach people this stuff and you tell them about it and they still mess up. Now if I keep that pin from flying all over the place, that'd be good, that little keeper. I did put some good fuel in it. It was a stinky, nasty mess. It was whatever was in there. It looked like pond water, honestly. I'm not just making it up, not just saying stuff. It looked like pond water. Smelled like kerosene or some sort or something or other. It's pretty gross. After I got it from being locked up, you know, the whole clutch system was locked up on it. It did start fairly or easy. I mean, it wasn't too hard. I had to give it a little bit of starting fluid. But as it ran, it started getting stronger and stronger and, you know, running smoother and smoother. I had to where it would start really easy after that. Now, I don't know, I've not had a cold start in today, so I'm not sure really what to expect today. That's going to go in there. These little keepers, if you don't get them on right, when they can go flying, they're not much fun when that happens. But I am curious, I'm real curious if it's going to. There it goes. It's not all the way on there, I can tell though. Keep fussing, but I just can't get over it. I mean, I honestly can't get over how they. Okay, now it feels like it's in there now. Okay. We'll go ahead and fire it up and see if it's all gonna run pretty smooth there. Before I put a chain on it, and I'm gonna, after I get a chain on it, on the bar, I'm gonna see how she operates, see if she does good. All right, we're gonna go outside and see what it's gonna do. I've got to. It's a cold start. Just gonna tell me if we got problems with it or not. Pretty good sign. I'll put the bar and a chain on it. You can see how hot everything got. You can just see the discoloration. You can see where it's melted here. So, like I say, I've got a lot of cleanup to do on this thing. If I see it's going to operate well and everything's going to be okay, I've got to do a lot of repair on it. But I'll get to it, you know. I just, like I say, sometimes you just have to be smart and take your time, assess what's going on with the piece of equipment. Because I'm going to be honest with you, you know, I'm looking at over $100 just for some of the parts. And right off the bat, clutch and all that kind of stuff, it's going to cost. And I'm out on the thing right now. I'm out at about $30 plus $30 on the parts, so already it doesn't take long. But I want to check a couple of things. I'm gonna sprocket needs to be replaced too. I'm gonna have to do that, but I want to check this chain, make sure, because I'm putting a different chain on there. I'm pretty sure it's the same one, but I just got to make sure it's going to be correct, and it is. But I mean, he wore the crud out of that clutch plate. I'll try to get to where you can see it if I can. If you get up here, you can see the lines all over it. See how the lines are? I mean, it's been bit hard. It's really not any good. You can see it there. So I'll be, have to buy that too. But again, if I'm just out another $100 or so on it, this is a $700 chainsaw, new. That's, it's still, yeah, it's a gamble. No matter what, it's still a gamble. But it might be worthwhile, if it works correctly, So I think I'm gonna put a little bit of WD-40 in this area. Well, you can just see everything burnt and melted in here. It's crazy. I'm not trying to be mean on the young man, because he's just a young man. Boy, he wasn't taught to take care of the equipment at all, so not at all. It's unfortunate, really, really unfortunate. Let's be honest with each other. Young men, as a general rule, and including myself, when I was a young guy, you had to learn, So even though I was taught a few things, I had a dad that was an alcoholic, so he didn't teach me much of nothing except trouble. That's all that man ever done, was stayed in trouble. I mean, he's always in trouble with something, law or people or... Well, I'm sounding fussy today, and I don't want to sound fussy, but, sometimes you just got to be honest and say, he was just a very troubled individual. And I know I'm gonna make some of you mad at me, but you know, they say it's an alcoholism is a disease. I don't think it's a disease at all. I think everything in life is a choice. We all make decisions, you know. I made a decision to get married. I made a decision about home. I made a decision to buy the things I bought. I've made decisions, good and bad. I've just over the years, you know, it's just a fact. And they say, well, you know, it's an addiction, and it is. And I understand addiction because my dad was an alcoholic. I have to be careful myself with addictions. I don't drink. Stay away from that because I watched an alcoholic life, you know. But I still, you know, as crazy as it sounds, I kind of like my Dr. Peppers and things like that. You think that's funny, but you know, it's an addiction. If I was into cigarettes, which I'm not, you know, I can see that being an addiction. So I understand addiction, so I don't downplay that. But we still make decisions in this life, regardless. I mean, God gave us enough sense to make decisions, and I'm glad, you know, I'm glad He did that. Now, sometimes I think we don't use the common sense that God gave us. Sometimes we still do stupid stuff. You know, we've all made mistakes. But, you know, I guess I'm being frustrated with the young man because of what he done to this thing. But, you know, you just don't disrespect any kind of piece of equipment. If this was a piece of equipment that he had to have to make a living, you know, he would be doing harm to himself, and if he had a family, I don't know if he had a family or not, but he'd be doing a lot of harm, you know, for his family. Because if you're tearing equipment up all the time, you can't make money for your family. You know, every dollar you have to assign people. A lot of people don't understand money, and I'm not going to tell you I do. I see money as a tool, and you have to assign money where it's going. It's just a tool, and that's what you have to respect it as such. But you have to assign it. You have to tell that money where it's going to go. So if you're tearing up stuff, and you're having to assign money to things that you're tearing up, it means you're taking money from something else. So, you know, he should have stopped. I don't know if it's laziness. I'm not sure if he just didn't know any better. I really don't know. I can't answer. You know, can't answer at all. He just said when I talked to him, he said he was cutting up several trees that day, and he was, you know, just cutting a lot of trees up. But boy, when you've seen how much carnage, and I didn't show you all that yesterday when I looked at it, took it apart and seen all the carnage, it's shocking. I mean, it is shocking how he tore it up so bad. I say it this way: if you were buying a car from him and he treated the vehicle like he did this chainsaw with such disrespect, you wouldn't be getting much of a car, I'll tell you that much. And I'm not mean on him, I just don't know. I don't think he was taught, or maybe the work ethics is just not, I don't know. You know, I can't speak on people. I see a lot of things. Even people that worked with me over the years, I've seen them tear up so much stuff and lose. I used to get so frustrated. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it seemed like every week we were spending close to $500 on stuff that people were either wasting or destroying or losing or whatever. They were always, it just seemed like it was all the time. I used to get so upset when my wife would visit with her about it. And I don't understand that. I grew up poor. And I'm not saying I'm any better than anybody else, but I grew up poor. So, guess what? if you lost that, it was forever gone. You couldn't hardly afford to go buy something else, you know. When you're poor, you just can't do it. So I had to make things work. I'm not gonna make that chain real tight because that clutch is in such in poor shape. I'm not gonna do it like I normally do it. And I'm guessing too, he probably had his chain way too tight. If we were just to guess at it, I don't know that. I think there's just a combination of a lot of problems. Now you notice here, I've got this on this plastic here. Whenever you're tightening the chain or putting a bar on like this, you need to be pushing upward. When you're actually cutting, you're pushing downward on it. So it needs to be kind of set up as the way you would be working it in the field. You notice me putting some pressure to it, but I'm not dogging down on it. Chainsaw. Not dogging down on it. And all that's working free. That feels pretty good. It's pretty tight. It's close to what I would normally do. I've got it going the right direction. Of course, your teeth always going that way on top and going that way on the bottom. So it's looking pretty good here. I honestly think we're ready to take it to the field and see what it'll do. I'll actually do some cutting with it. I think that chain, it feels sharp. I think that I sharpened it. But you can see the old chain it had on it when I got it from him. It's gonna need some TLC. It's dull as it can be. The bar is absolutely a disaster. When I bought it from him, he said, well, sir, he said, even if it don't work, he said, at least you got a bar or the chain. I said, yeah. I didn't want to say anything to him, but you know, you can look at this is off my chainsaws. This is off my chainsaws, and I've had it for years. And his is his bar. See, I would think there's some difference here. This sucker's been so hot, you can see where it's blue. It's been so hot, and you can feel the lips. You can see that it's been running. It's actually grooving in here. I mean, I can see so much damage to this bar. A lot of repair going to have to be done to it to even salvage it. And even, I mean, it's been so hot that it's actually created it would cut you. I mean, the bar itself has got right here. If you went like that real hard with your finger, it would cut you. It's so sharp. It's been grinding so hard. You can see some smoke up here. I mean, it's unfortunate. Well, let's go to the field. I'm gonna clean my hands up. We're gonna go to the field and see if this old girl will cut. I pray she does. She does. It'll be worth putting some money into. Hang with me. problems. I think the clutch is gone. I see it wallering out already again. It's just gonna have to have some parts. The chainsaw runs good, so I think it'll be worth putting money into. I don't know. I don't know if you could notice, but it wasn't oiling at all. And it was getting, that clutch was still producing quite a bit of heat. So I don't know if it got my little pin bearing I just put in there, the brand new one, or not. I'm just going to see what happened, but at least we know that the saw works. I mean, it was running very good. I'm very pleased with the saw. I think all these other things are going to cost money, but yeah, like I told you, it kind of disappoints me when I see people neglect things. But I really think it's going to be worth it. I can't tell that there's any air leaks or nothing like that. It acts like it's normal, and that means it didn't get hot enough that it melted this seal on this side. Hopefully that's the case. Two strokes are very funny. If they start sucking air, they'll burn up on you. And unfortunately, I've not had the tenure on this one to see. Yeah, it went to crap on me. That's what I was afraid of. It's too bad. Really too bad. The bar's not too hot, but it lost everything it had. It lost it all. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. It's just messed up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I knew something was wrong when I started seeing it getting hot. I knew something was not right. So it lost the pin. It lost the keepers fell out. I mean, all of it. Let me see how the clutch is blue again. I mean, it got hot. It's just a mess. I'm almost go ahead and pull the clutch. It's not oiling either, so that means that oiler back there is not working right as well. So, one step at a time here. Start seeing what kind of mess we can get into with it. It's just, this thing's just boogered up. I mean, he's done a number on it. But I'm sitting here rattling, but I think I can fix it. The Stihl dealer said we're going to have to order all these parts in, so now I'm in the dilemma where I just go ahead and order it myself or order it from them. So I don't know why they wouldn't keep. I guess there's just so much stuff out there that they'd have to keep in stock. And I've heard if you get into the Chinese stuff, it's not a good idea, because I've been hearing that the clutch springs are not strong enough. This clutch is shot. I mean, I can just sit here and it's just loose as a goose and turn purple bluish looking colors. It's just too hot. Too hot. Unfortunately, I just lost some money too. Well, it falling out a while ago. It's terrible. But I'm pleased with the saw. It's done really well. Very pleased with it. Do this a little different. I think I'll go ahead and pull that. muffler I did have oil in it because I filled that all up the other day when I messed with it, so I know it's got plenty of oil in it. I actually had this muffler off too before, so this is what I'm gonna do. I think instead of going through the plug area, I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put a string or something, a rope inside there through the muffler area, and that way I can lock it down and take that clutch off. Well, muffler's seen a better day. A lot of this stuff's been beat up pretty good. Thought about messing around with it and building a cool muffler anyway. There's that. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'll put the string in this direction. So you'll know what I'm up to. I'm sitting here rattling. What I'm going to actually do is I think I'm just going to fill the string full through there, and that way when that piston goes up, it'll go against the top end of that head and lock it down, and then I think I can break that. Hopefully that clutch will come on out of there. I'm hoping it's not been so hot that it's kind of seized itself. I'm always kind of leery with that stuff. You can break a lot of things real quick when you're doing that. But see, one of these little mufflers would sure be cool to put on there, but somebody else made that one. I've never made one. I'm not real good with metal work. So anyway, this is gonna be my saw to kind of mess around with and play with. I'm not gonna. My other saws, I don't do that to them. I use them every day to kind of let things running dry. It sounds so good. It's doing so good. Right. I've got that rope in there, so I should have something to bite up against. And I don't know if you know that, but you go with the. You don't do right. You don't do lefty loosey, righty tighty, that kind of thing. I'm just gonna barely hit it. Let's see if I can get that thing loose. There we go. Came loose. Well, luckily it wasn't too hot in there, you know. I was afraid it might have welded itself. But I gotta be careful because that dude's hot. Hot tamale. Well, you know what they say, chili day hot tamale. See, that clutch is gone. It's just a mess. Whew. Really warm. But I want you to look how hot it's been, how messed up it is. See, it's just a disaster, you know. You can see it's messed up. Try to keep it getting burnt. You know what they say when you're playing with fire. See there? Keepers that keep falling off of it. I mean, it's just a mess. See, it's about to just blow up on us here. It's a mess. So, anyway, a new clutch for sure. And so now we'll take it. Everything's hot, so I'm being very careful. So let's go through using it. A messed up mess is what it is. Messed up mess. Well, I'm whining and complaining today. Golly. You would just think a guy wouldn't be whining and complaining so much. don't normally work this funny, but it's just hot. And I'm really curious. I'm gonna take it apart here. I'm really curious what else is wrong with it. There's that. Well, the oiler doesn't seem to be broke. I'll let you guys look down in there. It doesn't seem to be broke. Doesn't look like it got too hot in there. I thought about taking the whole thing apart, but I don't know that I am now. See there? Other than being dirty, I don't know though. That oiler doesn't seem to be in trouble. I'm just glad it didn't get real hot down in there. Let's look at it here. I don't know though. I don't know. Alright, you tell me. I think that oiler line, I just can't tell. This, you can just see a mess. This thing's a mess. I just can't tell if it's broke or not. It looks like it might be. There's an awful lot of oil down here on the bottom. I just don't think it's. I think that line is messed up too. I'm gonna take the oiler out and see if that looks kind of like it might be messed up as well. I just can't tell right now. I'm going to take it apart and see. I'm going to blow this thing out a little bit and clean it up, and then I'm going to take that gear out and just see what's going on with it. I don't want to take out this brake, because I understand that can be really a problem. So if I don't have to get into that, I don't want to. All right, I got something I want to show you. When that flywheel got squirrely and come apart on that guy when he was using it and got it so hot, it cut into this oiler, the oil pump. And you can see where it cut into it. And I wondered to myself, I thought, man, I wonder if that's cut a hole into that pump. Well, I'm going to show you that is the case. So if you'll watch this, I'm going to squirt some oil in here and you'll see it squirting out. See it coming out? So it ruined that pump. That pump is shot. I thought that was the case. Didn't want it to be the case, but that is the case. That pump is shot. So I'm just going to buy a whole nother setup, a whole nother worm gear, and you know that little. I don't know if you know how this works, but there's a little gear inside here. See that little gear right there? You know that spins as this thing turns. It'll actually be this direction. But as that goes around, it spins that little gear down there. It actually turns that little gear, and as it turns that little gear down there, it pumps oil up to the bar. Well, this whole thing, you can feel it's kind of brittle anyway, but it's shot. You know, with it cutting a hole in it, there's just no redeeming this pump, and that's why I wasn't getting oil up to the bar and chain a while ago. Now this supply hose looks like it's okay, but I don't know. I'm thinking at this point, with so much damage in there, you might as well just replace it all. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm probably gonna have to go ahead and replace the hose too. I guess I could. I don't know. I might as well. You can see that little hose right there. That's the oil hose that brings oil from the tank. I believe that brings it from the tank here up through the pump, but it just, I don't know, it may be fine. I may goof with it and just see what it does, but I'd hate to go through all that trouble and it you know, put it all back together and it doesn't work. So anyway, just want to show that to you. want you to see there, it's hard to see, but that oil pump, I've done a repair on it. It seems to be doing well. I don't see it leaking out of it, and it's pushing oil. Maybe you can see it right there. It's pushing oil out. So with that being the case, I think I'm going to leave it alone. I've got another pump for it, but it's a Chinese pump. That other one is, and this is OEM. So maybe this will work. I'm going to give it a try. Just leave it alone. So I want you to see I did fix it. What I've done here is I've got some Chinese parts, and I'm not really sure how good they are, the quality. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to give it a try. Like I said, that other clutch just meant it was kind of messed up pretty bad. But I could actually take the parts off the Chinese clutch and probably get that one working again. But I don't know. It's been so hard, so abused, you know. One thing I found that was that even Stihl, our local Stihl dealer, didn't have parts availability on some of this, and they could get it, but they had to order it in. And I thought, well, my goodness, if you got to order in, then I might as well just order it myself. And that's basically what I've done. I went ahead and just ordered the parts myself. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to say I do have a Chinese clutch, and I just don't. I'm afraid to put that pulley on there, that sprocket on there that's Chinese, because that takes a lot of wear and tear. Now I've got another one here that's probably better quality. It feels heavier, so I think I'm gonna stick with it and put it on instead of the Chinese. But the clutch itself is Chinese. Some people say they have trouble with springs on the Chinese clutches. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know. It's definitely tighter than the old Stihl one. Stihl seems to be, I think it just wore out, you know. So I'm going to give it a try. Maybe that'll be our answer. Got to put the washer on. It's got a little signification that says this is the top, so you slide that on. You want it, you know, up on this top side. And then remember, it's backwards threads on these things. So to get it on, you got to go backwards. See when they're going backwards with it. See there, going backwards with it. Piston up. I'm just going to lightly bump it. I'm not going to go crazy on tightening it. Just bump it. Okay. And I got this going backwards, so just going to bump it. That's it. That's good enough. Good enough for the girls I go with, they say. Alright. Put that on out there. I don't need it in there any longer. Clutch is now on. Now I need to find all my parts here. Shut you off a minute and put some more grease on that bearing. Got a smidge of the grease here on my bearing. Put it on. Slip that dude on. Alright. So far so good. So good. Remember, you got that little notch there. That oiler has to be in that little notch. You have to work together as a team. Feels pretty much right. Okay. So far so good. Take a little more grease, I think. Put just a little on here. Not much. Alright. No, this just doesn't fit well for me here. This is what the Chinese people sent. It's just not much to it, and this one here is actually OEM. I think I'll stay with it. Okay. And you got the little keeper pin. Snap that little dude on.